America, the land of the free, the home of Hollywood, and the birthplace of the blockbuster. During the 1950s, America was producing many well-known and well-acclaimed films. At this same time, however, overseas in post-war France, a new movement was brewing. This movement would later be known as the French New Wave. The French New Wave, also known as La Nouvelle Vague, was a movement started by a group of young French filmmakers. This included the likes of Francis Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, Claude Chabrol, Eric Rohmer, and Jacques Rivette. For more insight on the subject, I spoke to Professor Owen Evans from Edge Hill University.
And they were nurtured by a film critic called Henri Bazin, who was involved in the French cinema journal Cahiers du Cinéma. And they spent a lot of time watching films, writing about films, and kind of felt motivated that they felt they knew enough about film, therefore to start making films. And that, in a sort of kind of nutshell, is how the French New Wave started.
Inspired by the works of film auteurs such as Alfred Hitchcock and Orson Welles, those behind the French New Wave tried to go against the norms of traditional filmmaking and editing by putting their own creative spin on it.
I think probably what would define the French New Wave in terms of editing the best is that they were experimenting with different forms. So you have lots of interesting camera angles with an interesting kind of perspective and point of view.
The impact of this era of film history eventually made its way back over to the West, where it inspired many well-known directors such as Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino, both of whom have been very open about how the French New Wave inspired 1973's Taxi Driver and 1992's Reservoir Dogs, respectively.
With the Vietnam War happening and becoming a real problem in American society in the late 1960s, along with the rise of the sort of issues around race, particularly in the South, a new kind of generation of filmmakers came out, the likes of Scorsese and De Palma, Coppola, Spielberg, who wanted to try something different. So for them, the French New Wave was a way of experimenting and trying new things. So that influence is particularly strong, not just in editing, I think in terms of kind of narrative and so on.
This is not only how the French New Wave began, but also how it inspired the next generation of filmmakers and how films are made today.